Hey, I'm Joel with Powerstance Import Export, and thanks for checking this video out. It is for an eBay listing, but if you happen to stumble across it through a random YouTube search or a suggestion, and you have any questions about these vehicles, please give me a call at the number listed above. You can speak to me directly, or you can find us online, Facebook, Instagram, this YouTube channel, or even the eBay store at Powerstance Import Export. Also, please like and subscribe to the video. We've always got new inventory coming in, which means new videos. So if you've ever wanted to own a Land Rover Defender or anything 4x4 diesel that you can't get here in the United States, that's what we specialize in. We are a licensed used car dealer located right here in Oxford, Michigan. Hello, and up for sale today, we've got a beautiful Land Rover 110, 1989 with the 200 TDI. This is a true survivor. It's got 238,000 miles. It is right-hand drive. It is a UK import, and it has been legally imported. It is now located here in Michigan and comes with a clean, clear Michigan title. So let me walk you around the vehicle. I'll show you the inside, outside, underside, and we'll go for a test ride. Now, being that it does have higher mileage, the one thing I gotta say is that whoever owned it, well, I know who owned it, they kept meticulous paperwork. There's an obscene amount of work history that came with this vehicle. It came not in a folder, not in an envelope, it came in a bag. All right, that's how much paperwork came with this vehicle. So this guy took care of it since 2002, I think, is when he bought it. So let's start off here in the front of the vehicle. And again, like I've said in other videos, the main things you want to check out on Defenders are the bulkhead, the footwells, the doors, and the chassis. Those are the main rusty areas, all right? As you can see, this does not have a vent here in the bulkhead. So this is a replacement bulkhead that has been replaced and is in pretty decent shape. Also, the doors have been replaced. And I don't see any welds on these door bottoms, just a tiny amount of surface rust. And the rear cross member has been replaced as well and is in fantastic shape. So all of those areas that I discussed are in great shape. And this vehicle has been maintained meticulously. So don't let the high mileage fool you or hinder you from thinking about this vehicle, because it runs fantastic and it has been kept on the road religiously. All right, so this is the 200 TDI. It was replaced at 168,000 miles. So it's done about 60,000 miles since then, 70,000 miles. Under the bonnet here, the support struts have some surface rust on there, and those will need to be scraped and painted to keep it from rusting any further. The footwells, again, this is a replacement bulkhead, so there is some rust-proof paint on there and some Alpine white paint as well, and a little bit of surface rust, but all in all, pretty good shape. And the bulkhead was replaced, I would say, maybe 10 years ago, give or take. Now this is the 200 TDI. Very clean motor. I haven't power washed or detailed this motor. It is that clean. I don't see any oil leaking out of the valve covers, any fuel leaking out of the injectors or the return pipe. There is your injection pump. Timing belt is there. All the hoses look very good. Stainless steel hose clamps on there. Your turbo hose all looks good. Like I said, everything that was needed on this vehicle was replaced. So you see a bunch of new hose clamps, bunch of new rubber hoses, and anything that needed it was replaced. So moving along here, front of the vehicle, very standard light signals, grille, bumper, all stock. Does have some aftermarket checker plate here on the wings. And again, here's your bulkhead corners. Tiny little bubble right here in the paint. And the hinges have been repainted. Windscreen seal looks great. No chips or cracks in the windscreen. And we do have a full-length galvanized roof rack with a ladder as well. All right, we do have a couple nicks and scratches in the paint, and I believe this vehicle was originally Arles blue because the seat box, as you can see here, Arles blue. Unless this is a replacement, because I don't see any overspray paint on here. So this might have been a replacement seat box that was donated. Let's see. It's hard to tell. It might have been originally Alpine white, but it's definitely been repainted. All right, some corrosion here on the panels, on the door bottoms, little bit of corrosion underneath the windows here. But again, these doors have been repainted and replaced, and the frames are in great shape. No welds at all on these doors. So those are fantastic. The door cards themselves, a little bit of wear and tear here from banging on the seat belt, I think is what happens sometimes, but pretty decent. Now you can see some new foam down there, so the seat foam has been replaced and the covers as well. Let's focus here. There we go. Okay, carpet, that looks stock, but it's too new, so I'd say that's been replaced as well. We got an aftermarket set of Exmoor trim floor mats. Dashboard looks great, center cubby box. And again, let me show you this paperwork here. I can get it out. All right, this is a bag of paperwork, and literally like hundreds of invoices in here, all chronologically ordered as well. This guy was very meticulous. The bill of sale is in here, the advertisement. So engine, gearbox, clutch, all sorts of stuff in here that you can peruse to your heart's content. But again, this vehicle has been very well maintained. In the middle row here, we've got an aftermarket set of high back seats, which are great. They're a lot safer than the bench. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a 9-seater, 9 or 12, however many you want to fit in the back. All right, moving along here. Cappings are not great. There's a little bit of rust right here. It does look like it's kind of been nipped in the bud, but this could be, you can get a repair panel for this if you wanted to fix that. But there are some glossy, shiny areas. All in all, the paint job, the exterior of the vehicle, not perfect by any means. It was used as a Land Rover. It was used off-road to go on trips, and it spent its entire life in the UK. So it has some wear and tear for sure, 238,000 miles. All right, a little bit of corrosion here in the back corners and on the rear door, you know, which is to be expected with a vehicle with this much use on it. Rear door card, pretty decent shape. Bottom of the rear doors, pretty much the same as all the passenger doors. Pretty good shape, just a slight amount of surface rust. In the back here, we've got a set of bench seats, so we could easily fit 4 people back here, or even like 6 kids. Carpet is pretty decent. Again, there's a good look at your rear cross member, and we'll get underneath the vehicle later. There's a spotlight in the rear, full-size spare on the door, and some of this paint has weathered quite poorly, so there's some cracking in the second coat of paint, and various chips and scratches on the wheel arches as well. But beautiful set of BF Goodrich all-terrains on Defender 5-spoke boost alloys as well, and side steps on all 4 doors. Again, doors are in great shape. And there's your middle row, and here's the front driver's position. Again, aftermarket recovered seats, and we do have 238,000 miles on the clock. Heat is working great. There's your glow plug light. And she fires up. That's how you can tell your alternator is working. Alright, we do have a little bit of a muffler rattle. You can hear hear that? Once you idle up, it goes away. Very good sounding motor. Very clean looking oil. No smoke or blow by or any back pressure. Barely vibrating. This is a very solid 200 TDI. And no smoke coming out of the tailpipe. Alright, underneath here we've got drum brakes in the rear. This is the 200 TDI or pre-200 TDI rear axle, Salisbury axle. Little bit of diff fluid dripping out of the fill plug there, but nothing too serious. Just looks like maybe it was overfilled and dripped a little bit. Springs and shocks are not new, but everything is functional. Bushings on the rear anti-roll bar look good, and here's a look at the new rear chassis where it was welded on, and it's in great shape now. There's the bottom of the fuel tank and driver's side as well. So I see some new rubber there on the shocks. The shocks might be replaced actually fairly recently. Okay, so here we are on the driver's side. Here's a good look at the chassis. There is some wax oil flaking off. That's not really rust, that's like rust proofing that is coming off. There's your bushings on the rear control arms, also look good. Middle outriggers, great shape. There's the middle of the chassis, front outriggers. There's your center diff. I don't see anything dripping out of there. That looks good. And there's the bottom of the oil pan. That looks nice and dry as well. Okay, so here we are on the passenger side. Again, bushings all look good. Middle outrigger looks great. There's your chassis. And your front outriggers, front control arms, pretty solid. There's the bottom of the battery box. A little bit of surface rust, but it looks like it's pretty solid still. And sorry, there's the bottom of the motor from the passenger side. And here we are up front. Swivel seals look great. Dust covers are in place. Brake rotors look nice and solid. Bushings on the front control arms look good. Here's your front axle, no dripping out of the fill plug. And here's the bottom of the motor. It looks fantastically clean. And I didn't power wash that off. It's in pretty decent running condition. So the sump seal is good. And here's the passenger side swivels as well. Super clean swivels and seals. All your track rod ends and your steering drop arm ball joints all look good. And chassis rails up front, dumb irons, nice and solid. Okay, so let's take her down the road. We'll show you the gear changes, acceleration, braking, and all that good stuff. And we'll see how she does. I'm guessing she's going to do real well, considering all the new parts. Alright, so there's first gear, second gear. Gearbox is pretty stiff actually, so pretty safe to say it's been recently rebuilt as well. Hardly any back and forth movement in the gearbox, so that's a good thing. And we're cruising at 35 in fourth gear, going uphill, no problemo for the 200 TDI, no struggling at all. Alright, and we're about to go over a rough patch here in the road so you can hear. Alright, I mean, no rattling out of the windows. Very smooth ride. Okay, it's nice and quiet in here as well. Alright, so you can barely hear the bumps. Very gentle hum of the engine as well. So we're going to downshift here into third gear. Alrighty. And third gear. That's 45 miles an hour, fourth gear. 50 miles an hour in fifth gear. Alright, so alignment nice and straight. Let's get on the brakes here quite aggressively. See what she does. Absolute butter, alright. No pulling to the left and right, no squeaking, no vibrations or anything like that. Whoops, now we're rolling backwards. There we go. Okay, brakes are fantastic. So there's reverse gear. Let's pull out into the road safely. All right, and then we'll accelerate one more time through all the gears. First gear, second gear, third gear. Yeah, not only a very smooth running engine, but the ride is so nice. And I'm sorry that the camera's not facing that way, because that's a gorgeous sunset. Maybe you can see it when we turn this corner here. Good grief. Pure Michigan. Okay. What else I can say? It runs great, drives great. Does have higher mileage, but again, it's been maintained and the engine's been replaced. So this is a great starter vehicle, entry-level Defender, and there's not going to be a whole lot of 5-door 110s in this price range. So get yourself a good deal.